Welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be looking at the different solutions from GJD. Today it's going to be hosted by myself, Nathan Garner. I'm the project manager and tech support team leader at Dynamic CCTV, and I've also got Hennessey, who's the technical sales manager at GJD, that will be co-hosting the webinar with me today. Neil's going to go through a company overview of the GJD, and then it will be back over to me for analog and IP detectors with some slides and some videos demoing the system there. And then it will be back over to Neil for the Clarius LED light solutions, as well as a product roadmap. And then at the end we'll have a Q&A session in which we'll answer any of your questions that you've got there. So I'll hand over to Neil and he'll run through the GJD introduction there.
Right, good morning guys. I'm Neil from GJD, the technical sales manager for the north of England. I'm just going to give you a little company overview of what GJD can provide as a solution. We are a British manufacturer established in 1983. We manufacture external detection devices to work with CCTV and security lighting. We do laser detectors, illuminators, PIR detectors, light controllers, and over the years, since I've been at GJD, which is nearly 10 years, we've acquired quite a few companies. We acquired Advanced LED Technology, a company in Newcastle that manufactured infrared and white light illuminators. We acquired MSEC, a Swedish company. And then 2017, we acquired RadioVisor. RadioVisor were the first company to manufacture infrared point-to-point beams. We've also received Queen's Award for international trade. Not many security manufacturers have had this award before. And also in 2017, we opened our office in San Diego. So this video is just a short animation of what GJD provide. So why GJD? 90% of the end user applications demand reliable notifications for intruders. We have a range of motion detectors from dual-techs, quads, lasers, and both technologies are less likely to false alarm in the right environments. All our products, as you can see, the detectors on the left mounted on the tower and the LEDs, they're all halt tested, so they're highly accelerated live tested in our compression chambers back at GJD. And back over to you, Nathan.
So I'm going to go through some of the different detector ranges that we sell here at Dynamic CCTV. One of our most popular ones are the external D-Tect detectors. They offer it from GJD. There's a vast range of external detectors to meet all requirements, from lasers to wireless technologies, some of which we're going to run through today. Detectors can be used as a first line of defense on a site, more cost effective to stop or deter someone from entering the property before they actually get inside of the actual building itself. These are a few of the different detectors that we've got here, which we'll also be looking at on a few of the other slides upcoming in a bit more detail. So the GJD 300, this can give you up to 30 by 30 meter detection range, and it will do 10 degrees to 70 degrees detection angles on the unit with a pulse count between 1 and 3, which is configurable with an optimum mounting height of 3 meters. We've also got the GJD 350 and 340 detectors. These are longer range perimeter detectors that work as like a spot beam, so it has a narrow detection range but a longer distance range between 40 meters and 50 meters on these units, and these can be used for the likes of fence line coverage, and the detection angles are a narrow beam for this unit. The Pearl unit, quite popular for home installs to cover such patio doors and windows, and so it's actually quite a pretty useful unit on smaller installs. It's also designed to detect if someone actually tries to cover the unit up as well for that one. On our D-Tect dual-tech unit, the GJD 360 and the 87 unit as well, there's quad element sensor with adjustable pulse counts. It can be set to 1 or 2 to give increased stability, with anti-masking circuitry on some of the units as well if anyone tries to obscure or cover the sensor lenses, and these work at 30 meter detection distances. It's an active and passive detector, so it needs a double knock in effect. So the object needs to emit passive infrared and also to detect if something is moving in order for the unit to actually trigger, which can help with false alarms. So there's a lot more units that are available in the range as well. Please feel free to contact our sales team at Dynamic for more details on the different units that we do sell. There's also a range of wireless detectors. So these are a few of them here, as well as the actual wireless receivers. So the GJD 430 unit, this is a 30 by 30 meter wireless motion detection, which would receive back on one of the GJD 392 units. And it has an inbuilt discrete internal antenna as well, and will use two CR123 batteries in order to power the unit. There's also the 450, which is a 50 meter by 8 meter wireless detector with a 500 meter transmission range for the wireless, and that's in an open environment with no obstacles or anything in there. The 392 unit, so by default that can accept up to 4 wireless detectors, but can be expanded up to 16 wireless detectors using expandable boards. We've also got the wireless signal strength tester, so you can walk around on site and actually test the wireless signal, and you'll get the different locations. It's like a walk tester unit. We've also got the alarm expander board there, so that allows you to receive an additional 4 detectors using that board to the wireless unit. So there's quite a few different options that we've got there, and we can run through those for your requirements to make sure that we get the right one for your customer there at Dynamic CCTV. And what we've got here is the actual D-Tect detectors. And so there's quite a few things that are available within this range. So we do PoE and IP versions, anti-masking versions. There's a few different features with that one. There's also a rear tamper and lid tamper on each of the units. Now I've got a little video in this one, just shows the kind of ranges through there and how you can actually adjust the actual detection angles with those units. The field of view is adjustable on the actual detectors, so it will conform to the BS 8418 compliance, and that means that the actual detection area matches the field of view of the camera itself. But on the GJD 300 range, these are the perimeter detectors. So this is a BS 8418 compliant unit as well. This is spot beam, so it's a narrow detection angle for these units. It's better for your long range and your perimeter detection units. And it does need to be compliant for alarm monitored sites. And we've got a 1 to 2 pulse count configurable on these units. And these are also recommended at a 3 meter mounting height, the GJD 300 range. And it's useful for fence line coverage, those type kind of scenarios. Moving on, we've got the Pearl unit, which is the GJD 104. So this is a dual tech unit for increased stability and anti-masking detection, and it's a 12 by 2 meter curtain detector, so it's suitable for using across doors, windows, and even across a property to box it in as such. And this is supplied with a customizable T-bracket, narrow beam applications. So there's quite a few different programmable ranges on this one. So you can go up to 12 meter distance with 4 different range options: 3 meter, 6 meter, 9 meter, and 12 meter. And it's a dual PIR with microwave and also anti-masking. It's normally closed, fault-free contacts for the actual alarm trigger and the mask and tamper alarms as well. And this unit's powered by 12 volt DC, and this mounting height's a little bit shorter than the other ones, so this is between 2 and 2.5 meters on the actual heights of this one, and it will work down to minus 20 degrees and up to plus 55 degrees on this unit. We've also got the universal D-Tect unit in this range that we sell at Dynamic, and this is the GJD 630. So this is to be used as a wireless detector. It would need a third-party wireless transmitter in order for it to be used as wireless detector. That's why it's got the bit of a thicker back box on the unit, so you can actually install your own wireless transmitter to connect to a third-party system. This is using quad PIR technology with a programmable range of 10, 20, and 30 meters. And there's 3 negative switch outputs on the unit. So you've got an alarm, a tamper, and a low battery alarm. And this one is powered by 2 3-volt CR123 batteries, which aren't included with them. 3 meter height installation for this one. Works off dual microwave and infrared technology for this. And we've got another slide on this one that shows how you can use it with the Ajax transmitters or another third-party wireless transmitter. So this would convert it into a wireless unit which can connect to, for example, an Ajax system, which on the slides you'll be able to have a link to see our Ajax transmitter unit, which can be used in conjunction with this unit. So you can actually link it to an Ajax alarm system on a property, which we have done a video on as well, which will be linked in the PowerPoint for this one. So these are a few of the different D-Tect accessories that are available. So you've got the conduit adapter for that one, which enables the entry of a back box, which is suitable for 20mm conduit, and this fits on all D-Tect units, and it has an integrated rear tamper mechanism on this one. We also have the D-Guard, the GJD 308. This is a steel wire plastic coated guard, just to stop anyone from throwing rocks or anything to try and break the detector or trying to smash it with something else. We've also got the pole mount bracket, the PMB1, mounted to a pole with the Jubilee clips there. And we've also got the walk tester, the GJD 380. This attaches underneath of the D-Tect unit, and it receives detection alerts from the blue LED inside the D-Tect unit pointing downwards. And it has an audio and LED alert when someone triggers the actual detection distance, so you can actually hear that from up to 50 meters away, which is ideal for walk testing and commissioning, which we've demoed on our YouTube channel as well for that one. So it's a pretty useful tool there for when you're setting up and commissioning sites, which makes it a lot easier for an installer and engineers as well. So this is a short video just showing how a detector is set up with the different angles and stuff there. You can see we've got the actual detector on the wall there with the actual curtains on the side, which can be closed in, which can actually bring the detection range, so it's not as wide, so you can narrow the field using them two plastic curtains on the side. And you use the button on the actual unit itself in order to program the detector, which makes it easy and simple to do. You can see there the blue light. This is what the walk tester unit would be looking at. We can adjust the angle inside the unit and also the tilt of the unit, and there's some handy actual angles on the side of the unit, so you can see exactly what angle you're positioning the detector at, which makes it a lot easier getting the units up. So you just bring in the curtains on the side just to bring that in. One benefit of these detectors as well, someone can actually see which way the sensor in the detector is facing. You can see just there the walk tester used for the system, so it really helps with commission, makes it a lot easier than having to see if an alarm is being triggered. If it's used in conjunction with the recorder, for example, you can actually see using that walk tester unit there. Now we're moving on to the D-Tect laser. So this is the GJD 500, which I've got a little video that shows this in action. So you can use it to cover a few different kind of areas. You can use it as like a virtual curtain, so you can use it across roof lines, so if anything breaks out, it will send a trigger. It does have multiple alarm outputs on this unit, and it can allow you to create virtual walls or ceilings. There's a few different models that we do, and the one on this one is the 25 meter by 25 meter unit, but we also do the GJD 509 unit, which is a 10 by 10 meter unit, and the GJD 505, which is a 5 by 5 meter unit, which is quite a popular unit to use. So this is how the virtual walls or virtual fences kind of displayed as a graphical representation for the systems. This is the 25 meter by 25 meter unit, so it can be used inside and above fence lines. So on, for example, open sites such as car dealerships, you could use this type of system to see if anyone's came into the property overnight or anything like that. Automatic gates, so you can see if someone's actually trying to cross through that automatic gate as it's shutting and have this sentinel alarm. It's also used to protect artworks in museums. It's set up and programmed using a dedicated remote control, which is nice and easy to use. There's 3 visible red laser beams that can be activated to actually align the detection surface and adjust the tilt and rotation on the unit. There's lots of different uses for this unit, such as perimeter detection, intrusion detection, monitoring vehicle access points, roller shutters, and securing open sites as well. We've got another video here that just shows it on a door unit. So you can see that in there, it's spinning around to give the actual beam using the lasers to cover that actual entrance and exit point there. It emits 4 adjustable sensing curtains to provide the actual alarm and pre-alarm warnings, which you can configure on the actual unit itself using the remote control that we've seen on the last slide, which makes it a pretty powerful unit. Got a little demo here, an animated one that used within a museum, protect an art display. So in museums that have artwork mounted on the walls, using this type of curtain, you can actually see if someone gets too close to the paintings and have that trigger from the unit to an alarm system to alert any security guards or anything like that. So it makes it really powerful for the system. We're just moving on now to the IP detectors. So these work at 30, 40 and 50 metre detection ranges, which are programmable using the 802.3 𝐂𝐓𝐕 at 3.8 watts for the GJD 230. We've also got the 260, 240 and 250 units, which the 260 is 30 metre, but it has dual tech for added stability and fewer false alarms. And we've also got the 240 unit, which is 40 metre programmable detection range, and the GJD 250, which is 50 metre detection range on there. And with the IP detectors, these are integrated within Hikvision using the IoT function on the I-Series NVR, which allows you to add the IP directly to the NVR via the network. And it also gives you a much easier configuration through the web front end of the IP detector itself. So with the Detect IP, single Cat5 cable running over PoE, so that you're not run multiple cables to the unit. So that will send your alarms through the Cat5 and also the power. Makes it easier for installation. It's also 2 volt-free outputs, which can be used to wire direct into a PEZ alarm inputs, for example. There's also onboard temperature and look sensors, which can be used to trigger a detector as well. And there's a front and rear tamper on the unit, and there's a few different programmable detection ranges on the units as well for them. And that's just an inside look at the actual unit itself. So you can see there that we've got our Cat5 connection there, and also our fixed outputs, which we can hardwire into a PEZ. So for example, there you can see there we've got one of the units mounted next to a PEZ, so we could actually wire physical alarm outputs from that unit into the alarm inputs on the PEZ itself, the PEZ linkage actions there. So for the web UI, the IP detector, so similar to how Card works, you've got a web front end, which you can do all of your configuration and setup from. So if it's a rainy day outside, you don't have to be outside to configure the settings on the unit. You can sit in a nice warm office or a nice warm room with a laptop and go into the web front end to configure the unit. So it's quite a few different options for the configuration we can do through here, and configure the range of the unit, pulse counts, the detection LEDs. You can also manually operate the volt-free contacts through the web GUI, so you can actually test whether or not those outputs are triggering as you'd want them to the secondary device it's connected to. You can configure the settings of ranges of the detectors through the web front end, and also configure the unit to send alarms through to the Hikvision NVR using the IoT function by creating events and linking them back to the end device, which is a pretty useful feature, especially with the IoT integration within Hikvision I-Series NVRs now. Some need a customized firmware depending on what you need them to do, but you can contact us at Dynamic CCTV for more info on that. It's also possible to program the unit using the button on the detector itself, but the web GUI is much easier and can be accessed remotely from the actual network itself. Another thing we just wanted to mention was the IP device scanner. So the IP detectors have a default IP address out of the box, which is 192.168.0.10. But if you don't know what the IP address of the device is, you can use an IP scanner tool, which would allow you to scan the network and would give you the actual IP address of the detector for that as well. So what are the benefits of IP? Powered by PoE. So it's a lot easier on the installation side of things. There's nice, easy to use web GUI for configuration, as well as using network-based event triggers through the system, which can link through to the Hikvision I-Series NVRs through the IoT option. There's no need to go to the detector locally to change any settings. You can do it remotely via the network, and you can alter any of the configuration settings remotely on the units or the IP systems. And now we've got the laser watch detector. It's this powerful unit which will give you detection up to 5 meter ranges, 20 programmable zones. So the GJD 515 is a single-ended laser sensor providing speed of light surveillance using powerful emitters and precision optics to cover 500 meters. The unit uses time of flight analytics to ascertain where a beam has crossed with 20 configurable zones of any size. Each zone can trigger specific IP events, such as triggering a PEZ preset in a specific zone, but ignoring a road busy with traffic in another zone. It includes a visible targeting laser and telescopic sight mount for setting up, which makes it a lot easier for engineers and when you're looking at long fence lines, when you're configuring them as well. Some of its other features include nearly zero false alarms, heavy-duty waterproof design. It's an intuitive and powerful web-based interface for the actual setup of the unit, and you can configure the minimum and maximum object detection sizes on the unit. So that was just a brief look at some of the different detectors that we sell at Dynamic. Contact myself, Nathan G at dynamic-cctv.com for more info on those. But we're just going back to Neil now for the Clarius illuminators, which he's going to run through there. And then back over to you, Neil.
Thank you, Nathan. Right, I'm just going to give you a bit of a brief about the infrared and white light illuminators that GJD manufacture down at our place in Manchester. You can see on the slide there, we have a small, medium, large, extra large, and we have the large and extra large dual panel illuminators, which can achieve distances from 13 meters up to 360, 370 meters. All the illuminators come with interchangeable diffuser lenses, which means it's easier for Dynamic to have the stock in, and all the illuminators come with the different lenses so you can change the actual angle of light to match the camera field of view. You have 5 options from 10 degrees up to 95 degrees. On the front, on the lens cover itself, it comes with a hydrophobic clean, self-cleaning lens coating, which is great. So there's very low maintenance. So if they get a bit dusty, the rain can wash it off, or you can, maintenance wise, you can just hose it down and it'll come off. Illuminators are IP66, 5-year warranty. External extrusions where the heatsink is, it's anodized rather than painted, which disperses the heat more efficiently. It can do remote switching for telemetry control, so if the camera picks something up, you can put the illuminator on. You can make them strobe on the IP ones. So I'm just going to go through a few of the range that we do. So this is showing the different diffuser angles, what can be achieved. So with the cover removed, it's 10 degrees. So you're going to get long range, and then you can go up to 95 degrees. So you'll get a wide angle, but shorter distance. Most commonly used is probably 10, 60 and 95 degrees. So this is the small illuminator. As you can see, like the distances it can achieve. Only 4 LEDs inside this, in the white light and the infrared versions. So the top left-hand image is the small infrared, and the bottom is the cool white visible light. So at 10 degrees, the infrared can do 132 meters with a 23 meter field of view to match what the camera can see. So if your environment changes, you can always change the diffuser lens. As standard, the models are 12 to 24 volts or 32 volt AC. We do PoE versions, which are around about 12 watts. And then we've got the medium versions, exactly the same. This is probably one of the most popular lights, the medium version. Again, we do it in PoE. We do this in IP as well, which I'll go on a bit further on. We've got the large versions in infrared and white light. As you can see, you can get some excellent distances, and the extra large version. So why the installer chooses infrared over white lights? It all depends on how good the camera is. Like infrared doesn't contain any colour visible to humans, so that wouldn't be used with a colour camera. It'd have to be used with like a monochrome day-night camera. And the advantages of the infrared, you'll get a longer distance than white light, 0 light pollution, and you get covert detection. We do it in 2 wavelengths, 850 nanometers and 940. The 940, you get a very, very, very faint glow. 850 nanometer, it does give you a slight glow. The white light versions, it does provide full colour images at night, so it's better for forensics. So just going to move on to the IP now, again. So this IP, it has its own GUI with the white light and the infrared. I've got one on the back of my property. So in an evening, it comes on around about 8 lux and running at about 5%. If my camera or my detector picks up, it can make it strobe or it can put it to full brightness if needed. It's energy saving as well. And these are PoE plus, these ones. They draw around about 25, 26 watts. So this shows you the little GUI where you can create events. So you can do low light detection. It does have a digital input if needed, so you could fire something from a camera to do it. As a timer heartbeat, which is like a system check where it'll poll like every minute up to 24 hours. If it doesn't receive the handshake back, it can generate an alarm. It does have a tamper as well, so if anybody tried to vandalise it for any reason, it can send you an alarm, and it can also measure temperature as well. So it could be used in cold storage. If it gets too warm, it could make the light strobe if needed. We can connect it to various VMSs and Hikvision I-series recorders as well, so you could create an event in the MBR to fire an output to bring on the light if needed. Here you can see the different options: standard power, energy saving, boost power, different strobe types, and on the right hand side you can see the sensor status. So the lux level is 0 at the moment, detection's armed, the temperature is 14 degrees. You can manually switch these on as well through the GUI if needed. So standard powers, this one's set to 50, energy saving 15%, boost power could be 100 if it gets a detection or a command to bring it on. Some of the accessories that we do the single mount bracket, the double, triple, and we do a single and a double pole mount, which is used with the D-Techs as well. And we've got our own range of PSUs. I was bored one evening when I first got moved into this property. All the kids were in bed, the missus were in bed. So this was back of my garden. This was showing my camera with no infrared. There is a little bit of visible ambient light in the background. So that was using the camera's built-in infrared. As you can see, it's a cracking picture. And then this is using the Clarius one. You can see how much it's illuminated, and it is quite dark behind my property. And that's using the medium Clarius white light. So you can use that for colour forensic details and as an active deterrent. This was a little project we used with the medium IRs, protecting a solar farm. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner, using the built-in camera IR. It's okay, but using in the top image, you can see how much it illuminates. The Winter Watch and Spring Watch use our illuminators with their cameras. As you can see, like the detail, the black and white detail is fantastic. This was a site, a very high secure site. It has to be a certain lux level all the way around the site, and they've got 3 illuminators, one either side and one looking down. And again, pitch black, this was using the extra large illuminator. Another image of my garden, as you can see. And then with the IR, it does enhance it a lot. We have online support tools. We do lighting designs as well. So if you have any customers that need design, it has to be a certain lux level, we can do that. We do a detector selector, Clarius product selector, so you can just put your distance in, your camera chip size, and it will tell you what distance you'll achieve with that and what diffuser to use. We have Clarius guide, which I can send out to you all on the illuminators and how to specify them correctly. Cable length calculators, Pythagoras theorem as well. And another good one's the energy saving calculator as well. That can be useful to show to the customer to say this is what you'd save over XYZ amount of years. So that's it from the Clarius range. I hope to get some more questions. And now I'm just going to go through some of our new product developments, which are going to be out hopefully sometime this year, which it's probably been put back a few months due to the current situation. So the first one is the LoRa long range, which is little IoT devices. So it's the Internet of Things, and LoRa stands for long range. So we've developed a little receiver gateway box, which can add up to 1,000 devices, whether it's the D-Tect, the I/O board, an illuminator, a speaker, photocell, and LoRa can transmit up to 25 kilometers in outdoor environments. We've capped ours at about 1.5 to 1.2 kilometers just to save the battery life. We'd expect the system to last for at least 12 months, especially if you're going to be using it on a monitored site. So in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see our gateway. It is PoE powered. It's got inputs and outputs for triggering other devices. It has an open API, easy integration. It's ONVIF conformant as well. It has its own rules engine, so it has got its own like GUI rather than programming IP addresses. You'll log into the gateway. It'll find your devices on the system when you put it into learn mode, so you don't have to physically plug it in to learn it. And then, so if you've got multiple detectors or I/O boards or illuminators, all you have to do is drag and drop. So you could say detector 1 will bring on light 6, 7, and 8, and detector 2 can fire output the I/O board if needed. So the good thing about the GJD flow I was just talking about as well, it enables complex functions to be programmed. You can create different events. You can add schedules, timers. One good thing as well with the LoRa detectors and equipment is that you can send email, app notifications, you can even use Telegram, and you can even get verifications from Google Analytics. If the detector picks somebody up, it can send the command to the camera, and then in turn, it can use Google Analytics to say, is it a true activation? So this is going to really reduce false alarms. The Clarius hybrid. So basically this is infrared and white light in one. 6 of the LEDs will be white light and 6 of the LEDs will be infrared. So basically this is 2 medium units made into one with the latest Osram dual stack LEDs. It's PoE plus, it draws 22 watts. And this is it's pretty much done now. So it'll have its own web GUI all in one. So you can see on the image there, it's not too clear. This is just a screenshot that I've taken. So you can see the white light power and the visible LED power, pretty much the same settings as what the normal IP versions have. And this is a little video just demonstrating the functionality of the illuminator. So we're just going to switch on the light. So you can see the bottom stack of infrared LEDs switching on. And then the white light coming on. So this is good for when the camera is it's in darkness and it's using the infrared. And then when the camera picks something up, it can illuminate, it can activate the white light and used as a deterrent as well. And that's it from me, Nathan.
No worries, Neil, that was spot on there. I'll just switch back to mine. So we can go on to our Q&As. So at the bottom of your screens, if you hover over, there should be a Q&A option, which you can then type in any questions that you've got there. And myself and Neil should be able to see those coming through, which I think there's a few questions in there. I'll answer the one from Ben. So the mono IR image with the Clarius seems to remove all the integration on the image nighttime, improves analytic performance for VCA. Can you assist us with lighting design on our projects? So with our project team at Dynamic CCTV that's headed up by myself, we can assist with this as well as GJD. So we can help with any lighting designs and system designs using the GJD systems there. We're always happy to help with that, and my contact details are on screen there. And I think can you see the questions there, Neil?
Yes, I can, yeah. Can the watt tester be used for all models of detectors? Well, we have 2 watt testers. We have the GJD 380, which is used for the D-Tect range of hardwired detectors. And then we have the wireless one, which is the GJD 340, which is used with the D-Tect range of detectors.
So, Georgius, how the detector could talk to the camera, push notifications maybe. So with the IoT with Hikvision, you can use the linkage actions on the actual recorder itself to trigger the cameras and trigger recording on a specific camera. So you can link that up on the iSeries MVR using the integration with GJD through the IoT option on the unit, and that's on the iSeries MVRs.
In the D-Tect laser, there is 2 different options. There is a mode for detecting people with black clothing,
There's another one about talk directly to IP cameras from the actual detectors. That at the moment's done via physical contacts. To directly integrate them, it would need to be customization on a project basis, which you can contact us about. We can look into that for you and put something together for that kind of system.
Right, Brian's asked, in these days of camera analytics, where and why would you promote GJD detectors instead of camera analytics? Not movement in a designated areas. What are the advantages? Well, the advantages of using GJD detectors is minimal false alarms, if any. Camera analytics, people do like camera analytics, but only, I think the only work, we've done some testing, and you'll see a video on our YouTube channel where we had many manufacturers of the cameras, and as long as the scene is perfect, then the analytics does work. Have a look on our YouTube channel. I think it's the very first promoted video, and you'll see we did a test over a 6-month period, and you'd be surprised the alarm rates. Because with analytics, you need good lighting. You do. Puddles, reflections, can pixel change, and it will send a false positive.
That sounds good to me there, Neil. Sean's asked about the brackets, the D-Tect range, to allow it to be wall mounted and directed. So I'll send over an email with our sales team in, and they'll be able to cover the different type of bracketry that we offer for the different units, and I can send that across in an email over to you there, Sean. Ben's asked, can you use double knock configuration with the detector and VCA built into the recorder? So in order to do a double knock using the detector and VCA, you'd need to use a licensed VMS platform called 𝐂𝐿𝐓𝐕, which would allow you to receive the alarms from the detectors, which can then arm the VCA rules on the recorder, or vice versa. So through the 𝐂𝐿𝐓𝐕, it is possible to do that kind of configuration with a detector and a VCA event, which if you can send an email over to me, I can run through. I can also demo that as well. We could arrange a meeting to cover through that there. I think that's all the questions that have come through there, covered there, Neil.
Yep. And if anyone wants to contact me directly, my email address is neil.hennessey@gjd.co.uk.
Thank you all for joining us today and taking the time to sit through this webinar. And thank you, Neil, for taking the time to co-host this one with me.
No, it's a pleasure, Nathan, anytime.
Always great speaking to you, and hopefully we can run another one further down the line. This one seems to be gone down great. Hope you all take care and stay safe in this current situation. As always, please feel free to contact us at Dynamic CCTV, or feel free to contact me directly. My contact details are on screen. We'll send an email out with all the information on as well as a mail drop later on this afternoon. Thank you, and thank you, Neil.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you all.